Hey, welcome. I'm Matthew Msingati, the designer and developer. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to create a Google UI clone. We are going to use Tailwind CSS, Next.js, and React.js. The most interesting thing about this video is that we are going to figure out things as we go. So you are going to learn how to use external sources and framework documentation when you are stuck. I'm so excited. I hope you will learn something. If you like videos like and courses like this one, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I hope you learned something or two and get your UI job. Thank you so much. Let's get going. This is what we are going to create. What are we going to use to create this Google UI clone? Number one, we are going to use Next.js. Obviously, Next.js comes with React.js, and also we are going to use Tailwind CSS. Okay, the approach in this video is going to be mix and match. What do I mean by mix and match? We will figure things out as we go. What is important, or the takeaway from this video, it's good programming practices and principle. That is the key. All languages and frameworks, they are just a syntax. What do I mean by that? A certain way of doing things. React is just a certain way of doing things. Next.js is a certain way of doing things. Tailwind CSS is just a certain way of doing things. But good programming practices, they are the key and they are number one. Okay, so we are going to create this UI interface, which is Google user interface. Okay, so what I did as a graphic designer, I've decided to create some sort of icons. All the icons that we see there, I've decided to just recreate them. As you can see, these are not perfect because this is not a graphic design tutorial, but I've just created these icons for the sake of teaching and showing you everything, or how do I start things from scratch. Okay, so these are the icons and I've already exported them. Okay, without wasting time, let's just jump straight into it. Okay, the one thing that I would want you to install for me, it's something called Node.js. Okay, so you will have to let's say Node.js download. You will have to, in your computer, install Node.js so that you can be able to run all the commands that we are going to run. And also you can install Visual Studio Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio Code, which is this one. Okay, Visual Studio Code, and download Visual Studio Code. And I think those are the two things that I already did by myself. Okay, and then what else? I think that's about it. Okay, so we are going to start from scratch and we are going to use the internet. We're going to rely on the internet to help us with everything. As somebody, obviously, as the YouTube channel or people who try to teach programming, we always come with what must be done and how to do things. This video is going to be somewhat different. We are going to learn together because I'm still also learning Next.js, React.js, and also Tailwind CSS. So it's like me and you, we are learning together at the same time. So without wasting time, let's just jump straight into it. Okay, this is a Visual Studio Code. As you can see, this folder, it's empty. We're going to start everything from scratch. So the first thing that we are going to do, we're going to go to our document. We are going to create a folder and we are going to name this folder Google. Okay, and that's about it. And then on Visual Studio Code, we are going to open that folder. Okay, open that folder. And then we're going to navigate to document and then not download, document, and then we're going to look for Google and then we select open. Okay, let's just wait for the folder to open. And then after that, we need to create a Next.js application. Okay, so we need to open a terminal, new terminal. Okay, and then in our terminal we need to create a Next.js application. Meanwhile the terminal is loading, let's just quickly go to Google, as I've told you that we are going to Google things and search things around. Okay, let's say next JS. Okay, let me load my on-screen keyboard. Why am I going to do that? It's because the C of my keyboard doesn't work, or it doesn't work properly. Whenever I press the key doesn't press, so I rely on the on-screen keyboard. So maybe you might also notice that when I'm renaming things, if it's going to need the key C on my keyboard, then I don't type that usually, but I will show you in most of things. Okay, so this is what I want. Next.js create app latest. This is the command that I want us to copy and paste for creating a Next.js app. Let me just explain some few things in the meantime. Okay, Next.js and React.js, please for now treat them as the same thing, one being the extension of the other. So Next.js extend React.js. It offer all the things that React.js really doesn't offer. So don't maybe treat Next.js as a separate thing and React.js as a separate thing for now. Okay, so let's just go here. This is what we need. npx create next app latest. Okay, so this is what we want. Copy this. Okay, and then from then we're going to go to Visual Studio Code. I can delete this. Okay, now here in this terminal we are supposed to see some sort of a location. Okay, this is the location that I want, a location to this Google folder. So that means now we are good to go. So I'm just going to paste that as it is. Okay, so this is how you create a Next.js application. If we see something that is some sort of unique and different from, let's say, what I know at the moment, we will solve it as we go. Okay, let's click enter and see. Okay, let's just wait. Maybe it's going to ask us for the name of the application and also some frameworks that we want to do, for instance like Tailwind CSS. We just have to say no, no, yes, no, no, yes, until it creates a folder here, which the folder we will name it, let's say GApp. That's what we are going to name it, which means Google application. Okay, so we just need to wait for this. Okay, please don't forget to install your Node.js in your PC and also install your own Visual Studio Code, and those are the only things that I think I already did like beforehand. Otherwise, we're going to use this documentation and the Tailwind CSS. Okay, obviously I don't know everything about Tailwind CSS. I'm still learning about it, but I know a thing or two about vanilla actual CSS. So if I can't do something with Tailwind CSS, obviously I will just do that portion of the code with what? With pure CSS. Okay, let's just quickly go back and see. We are winning. Okay, as you can see, create what. Okay, press OK to proceed. Let me press Y. Okay, that means it's continuing. Also, the other thing, I think you must be online, you must be connected to the internet. Now it's asking us what is your project name. Remember, we said it's going to be GApp, so this is our project name. Do you want to use TypeScript? No, at the moment. So as you can see, no is highlighted. Click OK. Would you like to use ESLint? No, I know nothing about that, if I can be honest. Do you want to use Tailwind CSS? Yes, I want to use Tailwind CSS. Okay, would you like to use SRC directly? No. Okay, would you like to use app router? Let's just click yes for now, since it's recommended. Even though I'm not sure if we are going to use it or we are not going to use it, we click yes. Okay, default alias, no, we don't want to use that. Okay, as you can see, there is a folder here that has been created automatically. I think it's still creating it. So guys, that's about it. As you can see, I didn't come up with all the commands ready in my mind. What I did, I've just used the Next.js documentation, and we've just created the Next.js application. Okay, please bear with me, or please understand that there are things that are not within my control, things like the background noise. Obviously at the moment I'm staying in the location where obviously everybody has got some sort of a freedom to do whatever they want to do. We own the public space, so if somebody wants to make noise and they are having fun, there's nothing we can do about that. I've got some limitation as to that. And what else? And also I will pause the video here and there when somebody is knocking at the door, but obviously I'll just let you know that somebody is knocking, and then in my editing I will chop things, and then so that we can get a perfect video. When passion calls, you always jump into code and try to teach whenever you can, irregardless of the circumstances. Okay, let's just go back to Visual Studio Code. Obviously things might be a little bit slower. That's not much of a problem. Now in the meantime, let's just as I've told you that I have recreated these icons, so let's just take these icons and push them to the right folder. Okay, so this is Figma. Figma, it's a prototyping web application. It's free. You can just go to figma.com and just register a free account and do whatever you want. Okay, so whenever you save an icon, obviously it stays on the download folder. So I've already exported this icon as SVG. SVG stands for scalable vector graphics. Okay, so let's just go to the downloads and highlight all the folder. So as you can see, this is the Alibaba logo, this is Google, this is Plus, this is Twitch, suppose, but because of it will need a key C that doesn't work in my keyboard, so I just renamed it as Twi. Okay, also this is Mike, also it will need C, so I've just decided to name it MI, and that's it. So let's copy these so that we can save them. Okay, I believe this is copy. Okay, so that we can save them. Where is Google? Here is Google. Let's just click here. I hope the folder that I'm looking for is already there, and that folder is public. Okay, under public here are some SVGs. So let me say open a new folder here. For now, let me just say icons. Obviously my C doesn't work. Let me just say SVGs. Okay, I think let me just say SVG. Okay, SVG. Let me paste all of these here. In the meantime, okay, all of our SVGs are here. So what we are going to do when this application is done, some sort of installing, we are going to run it, and then it's going to show somewhere here. Okay, it's going to show on local host 3000. I think it's this one, or let's check this one. Obviously now there is nothing that will show, but I want this to be here so that when we are done I can just come here and click enter. As you can see, nothing shows at the moment. Okay, so when something shows here, we are going to copy some of the code that is already here so that we don't have to write everything from scratch. As I've told you that I don't know all the syntaxes by my head, but I do understand what's going on in the background. Okay, let's see. I think we are done. As you can see, this is success. Okay, what are the things that usually happens besides this, in case maybe your screen doesn't show this success? I think most important, or most of all, it's Node.js. If you don't have Node.js, obviously you won't be able to do this. But if you face any error, maybe there is a red line here, don't worry, that's a common thing. Just look at whatever error, copy and paste it on Google and check what might be the problem and correct it accordingly. That's my best tip that I can give you, because even me, before, I used to have a lot of errors here. Okay, now what we want to do, remember this folder Google, it's not the folder that contains the actual files. As you can see, it's a parent folder, so we need to some sort of navigate to this folder so that the terminal can be inside this GApp folder, because the GApp folder is the actual folder that has got the application. So we need to type cd, then we need C again. Okay, that's not a problem. cd, okay, we are saying GApp. Okay, that means we are pointing directly to GApp. Okay, now the actual end folder is Google. Now, as you can see, we are inside a GApp. Okay, what we are going to do, let's type npm run dev. Okay, this is how we run the actual application so that it can run on this local host URL. Okay, let's click enter. Okay, so whatever that we are going to see there, which is here, when we are deleting everything, we will keep some of the code because we are going to edit from it, but I will explain in details what's going on. Okay, let's see. Okay, success npm run dev is telling us that the URL for our application is this. So let's highlight here and click follow the link, or we can just come here and refresh, come here and click enter. Okay, as you can see, this is where we were before. We are just refreshing here. Okay, meanwhile it's loading, let's just look at the folder structure. Okay, this is a Next.js application. Okay, this is Next.js application. So let's just look at this folder structure. This is this is GApp, and this is the actual application. As you can see, we've got the layouts, we've got globals.css. This is where we are going to write our CSS, not Tailwind CSS, our vanilla CSS. This is layout, and this is page. Okay, and then what else? Let's just look at public. Okay, on public we've got our SVGs here, and this is the folder that I have created. Okay, I think that's about it. I think the main page that we are going to use is this one. Let's just quickly check what's there. I think this is the main page that has got everything. Obviously, for now, we are not going to explain much about the layout. Okay, let's just come here and see. Okay, okay, this is the main page. Okay, this main page is the one that is here. Okay, we are supposed to see something here. I don't know, maybe my computer is a bit slow. Okay, but between this page and this one, we are supposed to see information about Next.js. Okay, but that's not a problem. Let's just come here. Okay, so this is the actual page. Okay, now let's talk about other things. The file structure. Okay, what we are going to do now, remember, React, it's a combination of HTML and JavaScript. Okay, so if you've got a page with an extension .js, it can work, but also at the same time you can rename this to .jsx. Okay, so that's what we are going to do. Why must we convert it to JSX? You know, the IntelliSense, that capability of a code editor to help you to finish up things and all those things. It's not available when the extension is just .js. So, but when you make it .jsx, okay, React, what can I say? React IntelliSense become active and you can use it. So there is no difference between JS and JSX in terms of the file, extension. Okay, there is no error that will happen. So let's quickly do that and change this to JSX instead of just JS. Okay, instead of just JavaScript. Remember, React is a combination of JavaScript and HTML. That's why it allows JS normally. Okay, as you can see now, this icon has changed into JSX, so meaning that now the code editor recognizes this page as a React page. Okay, and that's about it. Okay, these class names, this is Tailwind CSS. This class name, it's Tailwind CSS. Okay, let's just go back and see. At least by now we're supposed to see something. Okay, time invalid promise resolved, lazy element. Okay, let's just go here and see. Same thing. Okay, maybe it might happen we have made some changes while it's busy. Okay, what might have happened before? Maybe it was busy compiling, and what we did, we have changed this from JS to JSX. Maybe we have disturbed the execution, but obviously, as you can see, refreshing has solved that problem. Even here, we can just refresh. Okay, I think this teaches us a thing or two about waiting for this engine to run fully and show things before you go to the back end or to the code and edit things. Okay, I'm happy that we are here. It means a lot to me, somebody who's also learning JS and React. Okay, Next.js and React. So I'm happy that we are here. We can close this part. Okay, and then now we are going to work with this part. Okay, so this is an SVG. Okay, this one and this one is an SVG. So what we are going to do, we need to copy the way in which they are adding this SVG, because we are learning, so it's better to learn from the masters. So we are going to copy the way in which they are learning this SVG. They are using a Next.js component which is called image, and that image, it takes the resource, the src, which is the directory or the path to your SVG, and also it can take the width and height of the icon. Okay, let me show you that. Okay, let's see. This is an image. Okay, this is a Next.js image, as you can see. Okay, instead of going straight to vessel.svg, which is here on public, as you can see, it's this one, vessel.svg. We are going to go to our own SVGs, meaning that here we can say SVG. Okay, and then from then let's choose google.svg. I wish I could have just, I don't like capital letters. Sometimes we forget to do things with capital letters, so that's why I've just made it a small letter. As you can see, instead of that one, we are now going to the Google. Okay, this is some sort of a syntax for using the Next.js component, which is an image. Remember, I told you we are going to copy some of the code that is already here and modify it the way we want to. So in the meantime, we just want to test if it's going to load the Google image. Okay, the other thing to note, that as we save, this will automatically refresh and make changes. Boom, as you can see, we are making a progress. If this happens the way we want to, then that means that now what we can do, we can do our first task. What our first task will be, okay, when it comes to React, okay, you can some sort of, what can I say, you can create a not self-aware, like self-contained objects, okay, or self-contained component. What do I mean by that? Instead, let's say Traditionally, you write the whole HTML in one page with the header and div tags and everything. Here in React.js, okay, remember React and Next.js, for now, treat them as the same thing. Sometimes I'm going to say Next.js. That will mean I'm referring to a certain functionality that React.js doesn't offer. Hence, I'm going to say in Next.js. Sometimes I'm just going to say in React.js. So please be aware of those things. So in React, you can create this part as a separate component in a separate file for code reusability, so that when you want to use it in another project, you can just copy it and use it, so that you cannot repeat yourself. If you treat this as a component, that means this will change, this name and the description, everything will remain the same. That means you can just write this component once and duplicate it. Now let's be smart. Let's take this functionality that we are going to, let's take the code that we are going to copy from them, this one, and from this code we are going to create our first component that we are going to reuse. Okay, let's jump straight into that. Okay, I'm hoping that you are learning something. Okay, if you do, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button for my channel to grow. Okay, so now what we are going to do, okay, we are getting into React.js. Let's create a component. Okay, let me use Figma here. Okay, we are going to create a component. Zoom out. We are going to use this one. These are all my icons. Let me move them up a little bit. Okay, so let me zoom in. Okay, I'm happy with this. We are going to create a component. Okay, this component will have an icon. Okay, this component, I'm looking for a circle. This component will have an icon. Okay, let me just change the color there. Okay, this component will have an icon. Okay, this icon will have different sizes. Okay, the icon might be big and the icon might be small. Okay, so this component, what can I call this component? Let me call this component, because I am struggling with typing C in my keyboard, I'm going to call this component SVG, but I would have loved to call it icon. Okay, we are going to have a component called SVG. Okay, this SVG is going to receive, for now, let's just say as parameters, the icon name. Okay, the icon name and the size. Okay, and then from then, based on that, it's going to render and give us the icon. It's either this one, or this one, based on the name. For instance, we can pass here, let's say YouTube. Okay, and then we say the size, sorry, let's say it's gonna be 5 pixels. Let's say, oh, it's gonna be 5, and then this component will render this image for us. Simple, right? Yes. Okay, let's now go and create that. Okay, I think that's all, but the only thing that I'm worried about, I don't think I have saved a YouTube icon here. Okay, so let me just quickly do that. Okay, export. Let me just rename this to YouTube instead of being a group. Let me say YT. Okay, I'm happy with that. Click it and then go to export SVG, export it, and then here is YouTube exported. Let's just quickly go to downloads, download, copy YouTube YT, copy it and go back. Okay, and paste it here, Control V. Okay, that means we've got YouTube there. Okay, sorry about that, I forgot to export that one. Okay, so where we are going to create a component called SVG. It's going to take the name of the SVG that we want to render and the size, and that's it. So let's go back to our Visual Studio Code. Okay, as I've told you that as much as we don't know much about Next.js and React.js, about coding skill and thinking and some sort of technique and good programming practices are very important. Okay, so now in our app folder, okay, which is this one. Let's create a folder. Okay, we need to name the folder component. I think now let me start to use my my on-screen keyboard, because now I'm going to run away from this C components. Okay, components. Okay, now instead of naming it component, I'm going to name it component, because I'm running away from this C, and then things are going to be ugly and we are going to confuse ourselves. Okay, so now I've got a folder called components. Okay, now let's create a React component. Okay, the first thing that we are going to do, we are going to create a file. Okay, remember we said we are going to name that component svg, okay, .jsx. Okay, I'm happy with that. We've got our first file, JSX file. Okay, and then what we are going to do here, okay, we need to import the Next.js image. Where are we going to get that? We are smart. We are going to copy it from here. Copy and paste. We are learning from the masters. Okay, we are telling this file that we are going to need this component. This component is coming from where? From Next.js. This is some sort of a Next.js capability. Remember, I told you that Next.js extends React.js, and I told you that I'm going to say React.js and sometimes I'm going to say Next.js. So please treat these as some sort of the same thing, because they are achieving the same thing, but the other one extends the other one, right? Okay, let's continue. We are done importing this. Okay, now let me see. Okay, and then from there we need to create a function. Okay, obviously here they just what can I say, combined everything in one place, but for me I'm not going to do that. Okay, let's create a function. Okay, this is just a JavaScript function. The function is going to be svg. It's going to be svg. This is just a normal JavaScript function, as you can see. Okay, and then inside this function is going to render some sort of, let's say, HTML. Okay, so we have to write here run. Okay, run and then brackets. I don't know why it does this. Run brackets. Okay, this is supposed to be, it's not supposed to be this color, but it's fine. Okay, let me just save and quickly reference here. Oh, sorry, this is supposed to be return. Sorry for that. This is supposed to be return. Okay, now I'm happy with this. And then from then, this component, it's supposed to return something. It's supposed to render HTML. So for now, let's just type h1. Okay, I think you are used to this. Okay, let's say svg test. Okay, as you can see, this function is supposed to return what? To return HTML. Okay, obviously this is your normal HTML, but this return and function and everything is JavaScript. As you can see that JSX is a combination of HTML and JavaScript. So if you want to know what type of a file is this or syntax, this is JSX. Now let's continue. Okay, now we are not done here. When we are done, we need to export this this function, so that it's more like, so that it can be actually rendered. Okay, so we need to say export default. Is this export default? Export default, and what that default is svg. Okay, I think that is it. Okay, so this function that will render the HTML, after we are done with it, we need to export it as a default, and then we are done. Okay, can we go ahead and test this component, because we've just created a React.js component? Can we just test it to see if we are going to be able to see this SVG test. Okay, let's just go back to our nope, this is what I want, to our app. Let's see if it still runs. There is no problem. Okay, now what we are going to do, we are going to go to this page. Okay, the same way we are importing this image from SVG, okay, as a component, it's the same way we are going to import this SVG component. Okay, so let's quickly do that. Okay, import. What we want to import, we want to import SVG. Okay, we want to import SVG from, we open this, we want to import it from components. Okay, we want to import this from components. Let's type our C, from components, and then forward slash, what else do we want? We want SVG. Okay, SVG. Okay, I think it's this one. Okay, and that's about it. That's about it. I think so. Obviously, if it doesn't work, obviously we will make some adjustment until we get it right. Okay, let's see after saving if we don't have any errors and complaint. Module not found, components SVG. Now I think it works. Let's just make sure. Okay, let's see if it's going to throw an error or it's not going to throw an error. Okay, module not found. Okay, can't resolve components SVG, not a problem. Okay, HTTP docs module not found, that is not a problem. We just need to make some adjustments here. Okay, what's the first thing that we can do from here? Number one, let's type the full extension JSX. Okay, that's the first thing that we are going to do. Let's rerun it and test. Okay, as you can see, even though we've got the JSX, still it's not found, not a problem. Let's see what else we can do. Let's just type a forward slash here. Okay, let's type a forward slash here to see if it's going to go to this app directory, and then components, because you can see I think I've been careless with my spelling. Okay, this is components. Let me copy this, but here this is not components. My apologies for that. Let's paste as it is. Okay, without the forward slash, let's first save this one. At least we have recognized a mistake. Okay, let's just go there and check. Okay, module not found. Okay, okay, we're done. Components. Okay, components. Now let's just put a forward slash there. This is component and this is one is component. Let's just put a forward slash and see. Okay, 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 components SVG, image from next, import SVG from components. Okay, it's not working. That's not a problem. Okay, just for the last time, check where is components svg.jsx. Okay, this is components and this is app. Now we need to know how to navigate to this app folder. Okay, usually when you hover over this, it tells you exactly the folder location. As you can see, the folder location for this, as you can see, this is it. Okay, now we need to check if we can see, we need to check if we are able to see this path. Okay, SVG is declared but not used. Okay, let me try to use this SVG component. Where, let me just try to use it here. Okay, SVG, Okay, as you can see, let me make it capital letter S. My apologies for that. Capital letter S, okay, and capital letter S, okay. Why I was not happy with this blue color? The reason is all the components are green. Okay, so now it's not going to tell us this has been imported but not used, because as you can see we have used it, but we just need to be sure if does the program imports this component. Okay, so this is what we want. When we highlight over here, we want to see this what can I say, we want to see that directory. For now, let's just refresh and see if we still see that error. If we have an error, don't mind, we are almost there. We are going to quickly fix it. As you can see, this is giving us some hints. Do you mean dot whatever? Yes, I think this is what we mean. But when I was trying to figure it out before, I forgot to put that dot. That's not a problem. Let's just put it there. Okay, let's see now if we can get something. As you can see, this dot / it's redirecting us to what? To the app folder, components, and then svg. I think one more thing, we will just have to put .jsx here. If we were only using this JS, this was not going to be a problem, but now because of it's a JSX, we will just need to put that .jsx. Okay, as you can see, guys, we are winning. We are getting there. As you can see, we are winning. We are getting there. We have removed the error, and also here is our svg test. Even if we don't have this .jsx, okay, even if we don't have it, let's see when we have it, if are we going to face any errors. No errors. As you can see, we have just created our first component. Okay, let me see if all my things are still recording. Yes, we have just created our first component. And also what I'm thinking, this video doesn't have to be super long. Now let me just wrap things up so that I can make it some sort of 2 videos instead of 1 video. Okay, because this one it's already long, but we have just created a component and we have used it. Okay, let's test if that is the component that we are using. This is the svg component. Let's say using. Okay, save and go back. As you can see, here is it. Now we are just taking some sort of the advantage of React.js. So that's about it. Let's just quickly recap what we did. We have just created a React component. Here is it. It's a function that must return an HTML, and then from then you need to export that HTML. Let's quickly jump here. Here, as you can see, they have exported the function at the same line where they are declaring it on line 5, as you can see. So they don't need to say export default home, but us, we have just written in a function first, and then after that we have exported it after. Okay, guys, I think let's end this video here and then do another follow-up video that where we will start to erase everything here, and we will start to create the, what can I say, our component. So as a bonus, before I end this video, let's just quickly copy and paste this. Where is that image? Let's just copy this image tag. Okay, it starts here and it ends here. So let's just copy this image tag, copy it, copy. As a bonus, go back here, let's paste it here. Okay, remember we already imported that image, so that means we can use it here. And then instead of saying Google here, let's go to our public, go to our svg, let's take mi, Let me change it to small letter. I like small letters. MI, which is it's a mic. Okay, MI, save. Now instead of the word that was here, the text, we are supposed to have rendered the mic, as you can see. Voila, that means we are winning. It's too big. Yes, how can we make it small? Let's just make it 20 here and 20 here. In the next video, we are going to make this to be dynamic, meaning that this name is going to be dynamic. I will show you how we are going to do that, and also the height is going to be dynamic. Okay. As you can see, now the mic has changed. Guys, I'm Matthew Msingati, the designer and developer. I'm happy with what we have came up with. Let's make this video number 1. On the next video, we are going to erase everything that is here so that we can create this, so that we can create this interface. I hope you are learning something, and I'm happy that we are here in terms of Next.js and React.js. As you have seen, I am also learning the platform or the framework, Next.js and React.js and Tailwind. So guys, in the next video, we are going to erase everything that is here, and then we create an interface like this one. Otherwise, for me, if you haven't subscribed, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. See you on the next one. We have managed to create a component that we will use so that it can render icons for us as we wish. So before we delete everything, let's just make sure that we finish up the components that the component that will render different icons for us as we wish. Okay, so as you can see, this is a mic. We have managed to some sort of this component, it has rendered this mic. But now what if we want this component to render something else, let's say a Google logo or whatever, and also it must have a different size? How are we going to do that? So let's try that now. Okay, so what we are going to do with React, okay, where am I? Okay, with React, what you can do, you can set properties, okay, in this component of yours. This is the component. I can pass down properties here. Maybe in a normal programming language or function, we call these parameters. Okay, we call these arguments. Okay, let's say we are passing arguments in this function and we are going to receive those arguments here as parameters. That's the same approach, but here with React.js we call those properties. Let's quickly do that. Okay, let's first create a property called svg name. Okay, is equal to the svg name that we want is going to be mi because it's a mic. Okay, and then also the height, which is another property. The height is going to be I think we were happy with 20. The height, we were happy with 20, and the width, okay, is going to be 20. What does this mean? This means that we are reusing this component. Now we are passing by because we want this HTML or we want this icon to be rendered dynamically. We are going to render a mic icon, and we can copy this and render a different icon. Okay, since we don't have anything that is here inside this, we can delete this closing tag. Okay, we can delete this closing tag and close it here as you can see, because we have nothing inside. But let's look in our code if are we going to need some children. Okay, let's see in our mockup. Okay, okay, let's just leave things as they are. We will see how we are going to factor these words. Maybe we'll create another different component, or we will see what we can do. Okay, so I'm happy with this. This means that we can use the same component. Sorry about that. Okay, we can use the same component, copy this component. We can use the same component here and the same component here. Okay, now the next component is going to be Ali for Alibaba, and the other one is going to be Twi for Twitch. Okay, all the sizes for this component, the width and height, it's going to be 2020. Okay, and then what we are going to do now, let's just quickly run this and then see the errors that we might face, because this is not finished. Okay, as you can see, it didn't give us some errors because we've got these icons. Okay, but now remember, our component, it's not dynamic, so it's like it's rendering these. How many times? It's rendering these like 3 times, because we have copied and pasted this 3 times. So meaning that our code doesn't produce an error because it ignores all the properties that we have passed by here, because we are not receiving them here. Now that we have passed some properties here, how do we receive them in our components? Okay, now let's accept them under prop. Okay, this prop, I think here you can use whatever name that you want. You can say args if you want to, but since these are React properties, okay, since these are React properties, you just use prop here. Okay, so now what we are going to do, this is JSX. Now let's dive deep into making the most of JSX. Okay, what we are going to do, we want to change this part. Okay, only this part. We want to change this part to be, now if we want to change this part, okay, let me do it like this. Okay, let's remove all of this. This is a string, literal a string. Okay, so we don't want a string, we want a code. Okay, so we are going to open and close the brackets. Okay, meaning that this is a code, and then from there we are going to use prop, which is this prop, and then from then, as you can see, this prop was not used before, as you can see, but once we type prop, now the color has changed. It's because of we are using it. And then prop dot, the property that we want svg name. Okay, I think here are these properties. We've got the width, we've got the svg, but we don't have like as it is here. Here we've got svg name. Okay, let's see if we are going to get something like that. svg, okay, svg name is not there, but that's not important. Let's click here, svg name. So this means that here we just have svg name. However, this must be a path like this. Okay, so this means that we are going to have, let's try this, JavaScript concatenates with plus. Okay, and then we try this. As you can see, this doesn't give us an error. So this means that we are going to copy this as it is. Okay, copy this as it is and leave this name and put this here. Okay, this is just JavaScript, and then we are going to take this .svg, copy it here and leave only this name, because this name is going to be taken by this prop.svg name, and then we paste svg here, and then we delete this. Okay, this is the power of JSX. As you can see, we have received a property there, and then from there we are using that property svg name here. Suppose now we are having some sort of different icons that will be rendered, not only the mic one. Let's see. As you can see, guys, we've got the mic, we've got the Alibaba, and we've got Twitch. Okay, so that means our component is working fine. This component, that means now it's working fine. Okay, but at the same time, it's not making use of the width and height at the moment. It just gives everything like one normal height. Okay, now remember what we did before, where we were putting this logo. Okay, Okay, let's check where is that. Here is it. Okay, we were adding this logo like manually without our SVG fragment. Okay, sorry, our SVG component. As you can see, we're adding it as it is, but now we can some sort of copy this component and delete this. Okay, and delete this. Where it starts here and end here. We can delete it, and then here we can just type Google as a name. Okay, then let's see. Now as you can see, this Google, it's small because the width and height is what? It's 20. Okay, 20 by 20. Okay, what else can we do here? Okay, we have tested that our component is working. Okay, this component. Okay, so what we want to do now, we want to save this page. Okay, copy all of this. We want to save it as a backup because we're still going to come here and copy some few things. Remember, we are learning, so it's better to learn from the masters. Okay, so we are going to copy this, and then here in the app folder we are going to have a new file which is called bk for backup.jsx. Okay, in the bk file we are going to paste everything that we have here, so that when we want to come back and copy something, whatever, we can always come back and copy something. So let's go back here. We've got a component that we know it's working very well. Okay, so now what we need to get to the actual code, whatever that we want to do. So what we are going to do now, in this page we are going to erase everything so that it can be some sort of a default white page. Okay, so let's quickly do that. Let's only leave the main. Okay, then we're going to delete everything inside. Okay, so that we can create our own. Okay, as you can see, we have deleted everything here. Let's check what we have now. You can see we only have this gradient. Do we want this gradient? No. What causes this gradient? It's Tailwind CSS. So these are the Tailwind CSS classes. Okay, let's delete them to see if we are still going to have the gradient. If we have the gradient, we will look for them somewhere else and delete those gradient. Okay, let's see. As you can see, I don't think we have the gradient, but we still have a grayish background. Okay, this is not pure white. Okay, let's go back to our CSS, global CSS. Let's see in the body. As you can see, we've got the body here, and it has got a background color which is linear gradient something. We don't need this. Okay, we don't need it at all. Okay, and save. Go back. Are we happy with this? Yes, we are happy with this, meaning that now we can start to do whatever we want. Okay, now let's go back. The only thing that we want this logo, and we want this text input. Okay, as you can see, and we want this. Okay, let's just quickly frame these so that we can have an idea. Okay, so we already got a outer div element. This is not what I want. Delete. Okay, we already got an outer div element. Okay, let me remove this and create a stroke. We already got the div element. Okay, so what we need now, we need a div element for this logo. Okay, a div element for this logo. Okay, and also we need a div element for this input. Okay, and also we need a div element for this group of things. Okay, let's just quickly do that. So let's use our component that can render the the icons for us, but now we need to implement the different sizes. As you can see, this is a little bit bigger. Okay, now let's go back. The first thing that we need to do, we need to go to page, okay, the empty one. So what we need to do, we can just say SVG. Okay, we don't really need this. Okay, we don't really need this, so we need SVG name equal to, we want a Google icon. Okay, let's talk about the width. Let's talk about the height first. Okay, we want the height to be, let's say we want the height to be 40 and the width to be let's say 40 and 120. Let's say we will see how big it is, and then as you can see, this is complaining because we haven't closed this tag. So now this tag is closed. Okay, obviously our component at this moment in time doesn't receive the width and height, so let's quickly do that. Let's just say here prop dot height, and here prop dot width here, and prop dot height. Okay, as you can see here, now we are no longer having a vessel logo. So what we can do, we can say GApp icons or SVGs. This is not that important, we are just changing it for the sake of formality. Okay, remember this was copy and paste. Okay, dark invert, I don't think we also need this, the class name. We don't need this class name. Okay, so now let's see if the Google logo is going to be rendered at a height and width that we want. Okay, as you can see, the Google logo has been rendered and it's a little bit bigger. Okay, let's go and make a reference. Okay, okay, what we want now, this is the outer container, the main container, which is this one. Where is it? Let me delete this backup. Okay, let me delete the global CSS. This is the outer container, this is the main container. It has got an empty class. Okay, so what we want now, we want all the children of this container, which is the main container, to be displayed flex in such a way that they could be follow one another. The flex must be some sort of a column so that things can be stacked on top of each other. And after that, we need also a certain gap, an equal gap here and here. So let's quickly do that. As you can see, everything has been centered as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to repeat this. Okay, I'm going to repeat this just for me to apply this effect. Okay, so that we can see the effect as it applies. Okay, go back here. As you can see now, everything is more like one on top of each other, of which I like this. This is what we want, but it just happened by default, of which we have to create it. And at the same time, this must be in the center here. Okay, so now we are going to use Tailwind CSS. Okay, also I'm still new in Tailwind CSS, so we are going to try things and test things. If things don't go the way we want, we will go back to the Tailwind documentation. It will help us to get things done. The first thing that we want these to be displayed flex. Okay, let's see if there's any change. As you can see now, flex automatically, it makes some sort of a flex row. Okay, let's take it back to flex column. The reason why this is easy, now we are using Tailwind CSS. This is Tailwind CSS capability. Tailwind CSS, behind this flex, it has got all the CSS property to display something flex. Now let's say flex space. Why I don't have something that will help me, some sort of an IntelliSense. So let me say flex column. Remember, my computer doesn't have a C code. Let's say flex column. my keyboard. Okay, let's say flex column. I hope this is the right way of writing, this right syntax, but we will need, okay, that means we were right. Okay, let's just say gap of gap 20. Let's see if we are going to have a gap of 20 between, okay, which is 20. It's a bit, is it too much or it's okay? It's too much. Let's say gap 10. Okay, gap 10. I'm happy with that. Okay, and then let's center these items. I think it's item center. Okay, item center and justify center. Let's see. I think nothing happens at the moment. Okay, items. Oh, remember my keyboard doesn't type C, so to me is item enter. Okay, save and refresh. Okay, let's see. As you can see, we have centered the items. This is vertically. Now we need to center the items horizontally. Okay, even me, how I know these classes are not that different from vanilla CSS, so it's easy for me to recall them. As soon as I try to do something and it doesn't happen, obviously we will have to check Tailwind IntelliSense plugin, the one that will help us to auto complete things for us, and then from then we will have to use the documentation, this one, to help us out. So for now we are still good and I'm happy with it. So let's justify content center, justify center. Okay, let me just copy this. Okay, save. Let's see if this is going to be in the middle. Not now. Okay, okay, it doesn't justify center. Okay, justify. Okay, center, items center. Okay, that means align items, justify. Okay, center, is it justify center or content center? But I think it's justify. Okay, one of the reasons why things might not be justified center, it might happen this container doesn't have a width and a height. It's like if this container also the container start from here and it ends here, so you can't see if something is centered if the actual container ends here. But if the container ends here, then this can be centered here. Okay, so now we need to check if where does the container ends. Okay, so that we can change its width and height. Okay, let's see here, where is that container? Main container. Okay, as you can see, the main container ends exactly here. Okay, maybe here it spans from here to here because it's some sort of an item, some sort of a div item in a way, or it's by default it's spread. But as you can see here, it doesn't spread across here. So our problem here, it's not us with the syntax, but this item, this one doesn't have a width and height. Okay, now we need to give it a height of 100% width. Okay, of which, okay, so guys, I will have to terminate this video because obviously there will be a lot of disturbance. My apologies for that, but please stay tuned for the next one. Thank you so much. See you on the next one. In the previous video we ended here, and my apologies for the abrupt ending. Obviously I was forcing some disturbances, so I had to quickly end the video instead of you guys hearing a lot of things which you were not supposed to hear, people knocking and all that jazz. So this is where we ended in the previous video. We are using Next.js, we are using Tailwind CSS, and we are using React. The interesting thing about this tutorial is that we will figure out things as we go. Okay, I'm new in Next.js, I'm new in React.js, and also I'm new in Tailwind CSS. If we got stuck somewhere, obviously Google is our trusted friend. Okay, so let's just jump straight into code. Okay, so let's just quickly recap as to what we have done. Okay, so we have created an SVG component. Okay, this SVG component is responsible for rendering icons for us. It's just like displaying SVGs. Okay, and then this is the component that we are reusing here in this Google. It's one component. Okay, one might ask, why do you put Google? Okay, this icon or this Google logo represents these elements, this one, and this one. So in the at the moment, we are just creating a layout. Okay, we will change things as we go. We are just working on the layout. So we are using Tailwind CSS, and we are styling this container, the outer container, this parent container, and the name of that container is main, I think. Okay, so this one is a component. Let's come to this page. This is main. So we are styling main. We have displayed it flex, and this flex column, we've got a gap of 10, we've got items centered. Okay, as you can see, justify is also center. Okay, in the previous video we were asking ourselves if the align item center, as you can see, these items are in the center of the screen, like horizontally they are in the center. But why now these items, if we've used justify content center, these items are not in the center horizontally? Okay, in the previous video we inspected this and we said maybe the challenge might be the actual main container doesn't span from the top to the bottom by default as much as it does from left to right. So we can center. So it's like let me just quickly jump to Figma. It's like this Google logo. If the container outside this Google logo fits the edge of this container, meaning that it doesn't run through from here to here, okay, this logo can be centered. Okay, this logo can be centered, like it can be positioned here as a center of this whole container. Okay, but what if this container, the size or the height of it, it's like this? So as you can see that this logo is not going to be centered here, but it will be centered like here as it is. Okay, so that's the same thing that is happening here. Okay, as you can see, our main layout ends here, so we need to change the height of the main container to fit the whole screen. Okay, how are you going to do that in Tailwind CSS? Okay, Tailwind CSS, we can use a class called hScreen. Okay, remember I've got a problem with the key C in my keyboard. It doesn't work properly. My apologies for that. Okay, so we can use this to tell it to some sort of scratch from top to bottom, so that things can be vertically aligned. Okay, this is horizontal, that means it's center vertically, so that it can be centered vertically. Okay, let's refresh and see if are there any changes. No changes. Obviously, let's check what we might have done. hScreen, we have missed the R here. Okay, now let's go back and see. As you can see, now this is centered horizontally and vertically. Okay, let's take a look at the height of the main element. Okay, let's see. Here is the main element. Where is it? Here is it. As you can see now, the height, it's more like a full screen. Okay, I'm happy that we are making a progress so far. Okay, so now I've got a feeling that this user interface, it's at least trying or at least coming closer to this. We've got the Google logo here, and we've got a gap, and then here we are going to put the input box, and here we are going to put these icons. Okay, so let's just check if this gap it's more like what we are looking for. I think our gap is it's a little bit too much, so let's just adjust it a little bit. Flex gap of 10. Let's just make it 6. Let's just make it 6 for now. Okay, for me, I'm not sure about you, but for me, I want to do the interesting things first. Okay, so we are done with this logo. It's exactly where it's supposed to be. What I want to do now, I want to skip this input. What can I say? Text input. I want to skip this, and I want to jump to this part. Okay, because it's interesting. We will learn a lot of things. This one is just CSS, it's pure CSS. We're just gonna style this and position this mic here, so we're not gonna do much. It's not interesting. We can do it last. So my apologies for that background noise. Now the noise is not too much. So what I was saying is I'm just gonna do this one. This looks interesting. This one is just styling. This is just CSS, but this one we are going to create another component. The same way we have created a SVG component and SVG component, this one, okay, that renders or some sort of creates SVG, not necessarily create, but it displays the SVG for us. Now we need to create this component. Okay, so looking at this component, we are going to use the component that we've already created, the one that creates the SVG for us. But with that component also, it must have some sort of the name of the logos that we are displaying. So let's try to create this component and we will reuse it. What can we call this component? Let's just zoom out. This one, it was an SVG component, which is it displays the SVG. And these ones, these are the recently visited sites. Okay, more like shortcuts. Okay, so let's just name these component shortcuts, because as you can see here, it's telling us to create a shortcut. Okay, so this is a shortcut to a website that we have visited before. So let's create this component a shortcut. Let's make this component a shortcut. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to go to our components, then we are going to create a new component. Obviously I will need my keyboard here. Okay, my apologies for that. Okay, let's see, shortcut. Okay, shortcut. This is a shortcut component.jsx. Okay, happy with that. This is a shortcut component, which is okay. Now what we need to do, we need to some sort of import this component. Okay, just like the same way we did here. Okay, we need to import okay, also in this page we don't need this image now. Okay, this shortcut, we don't need it. Sorry, that import, we don't need to import an image. Okay, let's copy this. Okay, we need to import our SVG because we are going to use it here. Okay, paste. Okay, that means we have imported the SVG component. We are going to use it. Okay, now let's continue. Let's create a function shortcut. This is I'm relying on IntelliSense here. What might be the problem? Why it's not kicking in? Function, yes. Apologies for that. Function, let me just try to copy this function shortcut. Okay, copy this, paste it here, function shortcut. My computer is too slow. Control V, function shortcut. Okay, open and close the curly braces. My apologies for that. Okay, this is the shortcut. Okay, this is the function. Okay, this function needs to return something. Okay, And what is it that it must return? It needs to return an HTML shortcut. Okay, this is just a test. And then remember, we need to export this we need to export this function. Okay, export default shortcut. Okay, and that is it. We have just created a shortcut component. Let's test if it works. Okay, meaning that we have to import it where? Here in our page. Okay, meaning that we can copy this and then paste it. Okay, and then here we will say shortcut. Okay, here we will type shortcut. We are importing it from shortcut. Okay, we are importing it from shortcut, and let's make this a small letter S. Okay, component shortcut. Okay, this is component shortcut. Okay, and then now we just need to display this component to see if we are going to get what we want. Obviously, let's just display it here. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, this will work. Let's see. Okay, module not found can be resolved. Component SVG, I wonder why. Import SVG from component SVG. This it was working now, but now not. Let's just refresh. Okay, let's just refresh. Shortcut, this module components, it cannot be found. What we have done. Okay, let's see what we might have done. Okay, save. Components, yes, we've got the SVG, yes, and then we've got the SVG, yes, export default SVG, yes, we are importing the next image, yes. That means we don't have a problem here. Okay, let's go to our page. Okay, this is the page. Oh, okay, I think I have just overridden something. Okay, let me just do this. Leave this as it is. I think I didn't do a copy and paste. I've just changed everything, as you can see here. Okay, as you can see here. Okay, my mistake, my apologies for that. This is SVG, importing from SVG. Okay, and what about shortcut? I'm a little bit confused, if I can be honest. Let's then create another shortcut again. Where I'm in the main page. Okay, let me just undo. Let's see, let me just undo. I'm a little bit confused now. Okay, in the main page I need the SVG, and it's the one that I'm using here. Okay, in the shortcut component, what do I need? Also, I need an SVG. Okay, I haven't used it in the moment, and I don't mind because I'm still testing. Okay, so let's go back to the main page. We are importing the SVG component, svg.jsx, yes, and we are using it. Yes, looks like there is no problem. Let's save and see what it will say. Okay, as you can see, everything displays fine. Okay, I'm happy with this. My apologies for this whole confusion. I don't know why I was confused. What I want to do, I want to copy this statement. Okay, maybe I was just lost in my own thoughts. It happens sometimes as a programmer or a developer. Okay, so now I want to import shortcut. Okay, This is shortcut. Let me make it capital letter S, and then from then I'm importing it from components and its shortcut. Okay, let's see if everything is still working. Okay, something is not working. Okay, module not found, can't resolve, components not SVG. Okay, meaning that this statement it's a problem. Okay. Oh, okay, now I think I see. Let's leave this statement as it is. Let's jump to here. Okay, let's jump to here and see as we are importing this SVG. Okay, as we are importing this SVG. Oh, okay, now I see. Okay. Remember when we are here on the page, okay? When we are here on the page, look at where we are in terms of the folder structure, okay? When we are here in the page, we like, what can I say? Okay, we are inside the app folder. Okay, this is the page. Okay, so when you are here in the page, when you want to go to the components and we want to go to the component so that you can reach the SVG component, what you do, you put this dot, okay, so that you can be in the app folder, and then from there you go to components. Obviously you find this, as you can see there is a dot here. Okay, but now I have copied an import from a page component. Okay, as you can see, but now remember the shortcut is not in the same level. It's not in the same level as a page. The page, the parent folder for the page is what? It's app. The parent folder for the shortcut, it's not app, it's component. Okay, so meaning that obviously this is some challenges that comes with copy and paste. Okay, so in simple terms, these two files, they are not in the same folder, so they cannot import things the same way. They don't reference to this file the same way because it's like the path is different. Okay, so now we need to go to shortcut. Obviously the system cannot find this import because when we are here, we can just, let's see how can we reference it. For instance, for now, let me just say save and see. If that doesn't work, we will make some adjustments accordingly. Okay, this doesn't work. Okay, not a problem. Let's see. So when I'm doing this, that means I'm inside. Let's see where we are in terms of the directory. SVG is declared but not used. Okay, let's just use this SVG first. Okay, let's just use this SVG first so that I don't know what I've done. Click close. Okay, let's first use this SVG. Okay, we have used the SVG. Obviously this is complaining because we need to only export one element, so we need to wrap everything here with this fragment or with this empty element. Okay, so now we have used this SVG. Okay, now let's check where we are in terms of this. Which directory is this? Okay, my apologies for that. Let's highlight here and see. Now it's not telling us where we are. Okay, it's not telling us where we are here, but here, is it telling us where we are? Yes, this one is telling us. Let's check if is this one telling us. Yes, this one tells us where we are here. Component SVG. Is this one telling us? Yes, even this one tells us where we are. Let me just copy this. Okay, come here to shortcut. Okay, see, does not tell us. Let's just paste this. Okay, this is the same thing. Okay, but this one doesn't really show us where we are. It doesn't show this as a directory. What might be the problem? Okay, first of all, let's just use our general knowledge to solve the problem. Okay, when we are here, we are in the app folder. okay. And then in the app folder, we reach this component, and in the component we reach this SVG. Okay, so suppose this works fine. Suppose, okay, maybe I need to put 2 dots here. Let's see. Yes, because I have to jump out of this container, this parent container, and jump out of it so that I can be on the app folder. Then from the app folder I can be able to reach components and then shortcut. Let's see. Okay, also now it's showing us this path. Okay, let's go back and see. Let's refresh. Okay, as you can see, now we don't have an error, but we need to display, let me see, isn't there anything? Okay, then we need to display this shortcut. Okay, this shortcut is supposed to be displayed, or let's just use this SVG. Okay, just a moment. I hope you are not confused, but if you are confused, I will explain in details. Okay, I will explain what's going on. Let's go to shortcut. Let's paste this SVG. Okay, instead of Google, let's do TWI. Okay, the problem that we had was, number one, this page and this one, they are not in the same folder structure. Okay, this page is just like one folder away from app, or app, it's one folder above. The folder app is one folder above. Okay, that's why we have only one dot. But this one now, shortcut, it's 2 folders above. App from this file, it's 2 folders above. It's this one and the actual app folder, hence we had to put 2 dots. Okay, so that was the problem. So we have solved that problem. Now we've got a component shortcut that renders a TWI logo. Okay, now we want to see, do we have a TWI logo here? If not, if we don't have, let's see why we don't have. Okay, I'm happy with this component. Now let's go to our main page. Okay, as you can see in our main page, when we were undoing all the changes, we don't have this component, so that's why it's not there. It's because we don't have it. So let's put it here, and then let's see if we are going to see a TWI logo. That is it, guys. We are winning. I'm happy that we have faced this type of a challenge, and also we have used our mind and our general knowledge about HTML and also the directories and paths, and we have solved the problem. As you can see, we've got the TWI logo. Okay, remember what we are busy with, we are creating this. Okay, then again, my apologies with the background noise. It's one of the things that I cannot control, but when patient calls, you must respond. Okay, so let's see what we can do now. Okay, obviously here the width and height. Okay, let's try something, guys. Let's try something. You know, with HTML image, okay, you can supply the height only and let the width to be proportional. Let me just give you an example of what I mean. Okay, this Google and this Twitch logo, they can have the same height but different width. Why? Because the corresponding width for this logo and this one is different. As you can see, this one, it might end somewhere here, but this one is longer. So let's quickly test that. Okay, because I don't really what can I say, I don't like to change the proportion of an image. Okay, maybe because of these are SVGs, you cannot see the distortion. But if this was an image, which is a picture, a JPEG, you were going to see that maybe this resolution, this width and height doesn't conform to that image. A result is going to look funny. Okay, let's try something. Let's remove the the width. Let's not supply the width, and then see if it's going to throw an error. Obviously it's throwing an error. It wants the width. Okay, let me try to solve the problem by saying my width is auto. Okay, I'm just using my my HTML knowledge here to see how far it can go. This is just my general knowledge, because what I'm trying to solve, okay, obviously auto still doesn't work. Okay, for now this will require a little bit of research, and that might be outside the scope of this tutorial. Okay, so for now let me just say 100. Okay, but I will have to, we will have to see how do we just use the height only, and then the width will be proportional. Okay, obviously that is a bonus. It's something that we can do later. Okay, it's something that we can do later. Okay, now in this part, okay, in this section, we did number one, and number one is to have an icon. Okay, let's see, is to have this icon. Okay, so what we want to do now, let's just put this icon inside this grayish circle. Okay, let's do that. We are going to do it here. Okay, now let's create a div. Okay, and then let's call this div, okay, let's use a class name. Okay, class name. Okay, as you can see, guys, with JSX, with React, you don't just have a class just like the same you do in normal HTML. Here you must have class name if you want to put a class. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do here, we want to change the background. Okay, with Tailwind CSS, you say BG, let me say BG black. Okay, remember I'm also still learning Tailwind CSS. Okay, and then let me say dash 500. Okay, which is I want like black, pure black. Okay, and remember this must be inside. Okay, this SVG, the Twitch SVG, the Twitch logo must be inside this, must be inside this div. Okay, let's see if we have something there. I was just expecting a black background here. Let's just refresh. Okay, no black background. Okay, let me just use a color that I know will be there. Let's say BG blue 500. BG blue 500 will be there. I am sure about this code. Okay, as you can see, BG blue 500 is there. Okay, so okay, that means if blue is there, let me try gray here. Okay, let me try gray. Let's see, we don't have gray. Okay, so what we are going to do for now, we are going to use any color, okay, which is blue will work. Remember, changing a color, it's more of a simple thing than like the actual entire code. So when we are done with everything, we can just change the colors accordingly. Okay, so let me just say 100 and see if is it going to be strong or it's going to be light. As you can see, it's lighter, so 100 it's lighter. Okay, so this is what we want. Okay, and then as you can see that our SVG height, it's some sort of, our SVG is big, so let's make 2020 here. Obviously if the proportions of our SVGs, they are not proper, don't mind about that, we will fix that one later. Let's just make it 30 and make it 30. Okay, save. Okay, I'm happy with this. Okay, I'm happy with this. Now what we want to do, we want to change the width and height of this parent element. Okay, so let's say age 20. Okay, and width 20. If you might be wondering what is it that we are doing, this is Tailwind CSS. Okay, it's too big. Okay, that's not a problem. Let's say 5 and see. Okay, looks like it's too small. Let's try 8. Okay, let's try 8. Okay, I hope now we will be a little bit closer. Okay, 8 is somewhat there. Okay, 11. My apologies for this, but also I'm new in Tailwind CSS, so yeah, I think this one is almost like what we want. Okay, as you can see, this is, I hope for now, let me make this a solid color so that you can see, because maybe this light gray you might not see that properly. Okay, so let me make it black, just black, or let me just make it red. Okay, let me say red 500. Okay, let's see if it's going to be a strong red. Yes, so that we can all see what's going on here. Obviously, as I've said, that colors, they are not important. We can just go to Tailwind CSS and look at how to change colors, and we change colors accordingly. Okay, let's continue. So what we want to do, we want to center this icon in this element, parent element. Okay, so what we want to do first, we are going to say flex, and then we are going to say items. Okay, so we can copy this from here. Okay, items center and justify center. Okay, we can copy this as it is and then go back here, flex, and then paste. Okay, and then let's look at here. As you can see, now this item is in the center. Okay, now how do you, okay, let's see, is it round, full? Okay, so this is how you make your border radius to be some complete circle in Tailwind CSS, but I'm not sure, guys. Let's hope I got it right. As you can see, I didn't get it right. Okay, round, full. Okay, okay, what we can do, let's install a plugin for Tailwind CSS that will help us to autocomplete things. Okay, obviously now, as you can see, my Tailwind CSS knowledge has run out, so I don't know how to make the border radius. Okay, so let's type here Tailwind. Okay, tailwind. My apologies for my slow internet. Okay, Tailwind CSS. Let's install this. Okay, so this will help us to some sort of, what can I say, quickly show us some clues. Okay, meanwhile it's installing, let's go to Tailwind documentation, and let's look for something that has got something to do with border radius. Okay, this is what we want. Or it's not round, it's rounded. Okay, but let's just check if it's rounded full. Okay, is it rounded full? Not round, it's rounded. My mistake. Okay, okay, let's just quickly go and test it. It's installing. Where is this window is not responding? Let's keep waiting. We are not in a hurry, guys. We will keep on waiting because we want to complete this tutorial. Don't forget, if you like this tutorial, please help me to grow the channel. As you can see at this moment of recording, as I'm recording this video, I think I'm sitting at 120 or 124 subscribers. Okay, so if you like what you see and what I'm doing, please help me and hit that like button, subscribe and share. Okay, also my apologies for all the background noise, the doors opening. Okay, my apologies for that. Okay, let's go back to shortcut and then let's say rounded full, crossing fingers that it works. Okay, programming is interesting. Let's see. Okay, rounded full. Yes, you see, that is it. Okay, but our icon is a bit bigger. Okay, let's go to our user interface and reference. Okay, let's go to our user interface and reference to see, must we make the icon smaller or this circle bigger? Okay, by the way, there's a song by a guy called JR. He said make the circle bigger, so I think that's what we have to implement now. Let's make the circle bigger. Okay, just because of that song. Very stupid, but let's just do it anyway. Okay, we don't have to be always serious, guys. Sometimes you just have to do stupid things just for the sake of doing it. Okay, let's see. The height of our circle is 11. Let's make it 13. The width of our circle is 11. Let's make it 13. Okay, now let's refresh and see. We were making the circle bigger, but it looks like it's smaller. What have we done? Or maybe there is, okay, undo 11. So let me check again. So is 11 bigger than 13? Okay, let me say the height of 15. I wonder what are we missing. Okay, remember we are still learning Tailwind CSS, so please bear with me. We will get there. Okay, 15 is small, very strange. Okay, let's make it 10. Maybe 10 will be bigger. Okay, remember guys, whatever Tailwind CSS is doing, as long as we are getting the results that we want, we will think about it later and process it later why things are behaving this way, because at the moment we are just testing. Okay, if we can't make the circle bigger, sorry for us, let's make the icon small. Okay, there are many ways to kill a cat. This is our icon, it's 30. Let's make it 20. Okay, as long as we are going to keep on going and keep on flowing like water. Okay, I'm happy with this. Our circle is small. Okay, don't mind about the color, we will deal with that one later. Okay, but let's reference our user interface. Okay, Figma, it's taking some time to respond. Okay, let's zoom in. Okay, as you can see, we've got a circle and an icon inside it. We will change the color of the circle later. So what we need to do now, we need to create this. Okay, all right, let's go back. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to type P here. Okay, P. Okay, and then let me write Twitch. I hope I can't type C in my keyboard, so I will have to use this. Okay, is it? I think it's Twitch like this, but let's quickly check the spelling to see. Okay, there is a T. It's Twitch. Okay, let's see that, how it looks. Okay, As you can see, everything is inside this circle, of which I don't want that. That was my mistake. Let's take it out, inside the circle. Okay. Apologies for that. Okay. As you can see, we are somewhat there, but let's just take control a little bit. Let's put everything inside a div. Okay. Let's put everything inside a div, which is like everything, so that we can have some sort of a control. Okay, we've got this container, and we've got this, and we've got this. So what we did now, we've just wrapped everything, which is the actual container that has got an SVG, the circle and Twitch. Now they are in the same container. Let's see. As you can see, now we can have a control over this. Okay, the first thing that we want to do, okay, in this container, let's just copy this class name. Okay, let's just copy this part to here. Okay, the other thing with what Tailwind CSS is trying to achieve is styling your HTML without going to CSS. Okay, you don't leave your HTML page or your JSX page. Okay, that's what we are trying to do here, or that's what is happening. As you can see, we didn't go to a CSS style sheet and we do the styling. Okay, so what I want to do here, this must be flex. Okay, and then it must be flex column. Okay, as you can see, now we are starting to get some clues. Okay, with Tailwind CSS flex column, and let's see, nothing that has changed much. Let's prove that. Okay, now we want a gap of let's say gap of let's say 4. Okay, and see, okay, that's too much. Let's say a gap of 2. Okay, I'm happy with this, but as you can see, this is not like centered. Okay, so let's align items. Okay, I think we have been item center. Let's copy this. Okay, save. Let's check. Okay, as you can see, now it's like in the middle. Would you agree that we are almost getting there? Okay, and as you can see here, the distance is a little bit bigger. The gap is bigger than what we have here. Here, this is too small. Okay, let's make the gap bigger, guys. We are getting there and we are winning. I'm happy with that. Let me make it 3. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's just leave it there for now. We will change and modify things later. Okay, guys, we have a component, as you can see here. Okay, meaning that now we can create duplicate of these without doing this whole thing as we did here. How can we do that? This is how we are going to do it. We can copy this component, something like this. Copy this component, copy this component, as you can see. Copy this component 3 times, boom, and then we've got these duplicated 3 times. Okay, now what we want to do, okay, in this page we want to create a div. Okay, because we want to gain control. Okay, we want to wrap these in a div. Okay, native. I hope you know by now what we are trying to achieve. We are going to have a class of flags, and then we have a gap. Okay, also the other thing that you must take note of, flex, you must understand flex, what it is and how it works, because it works in most cases. Okay, let me just copy this as it is. I will just remove the styles that I don't want, and that will be it. Okay, whoops, okay, go to page, paste everything here. This is wrong. Paste everything here. This is right. Okay, we want a display of flex. We don't want flex column. Okay, sorry, yes, we don't want flex column, we want flex row. So let's change here to flex row. The gap, let's make it 5. items center. Okay, if these items are like this, we don't want them to be centered. No. Okay. Oh, the other thing that I must do in order for you to learn, let me not write a lot of things here and refresh it once. Let me make some incremental steps so that you can see the change as we are doing it, exactly something like this. Okay, so let's reference the gap. Even here the gap is bigger. Okay, let's say the gap in this container is 5. Let's make it 20. Okay, let me do it like this so that you can see the changes. Okay, I think it's a bit too much. Let's make it 15. No, let's make it 10. Okay, let's make it 10 at least. Okay, what we want to do now, okay, we can delete this, the last Google, this one. Remember this one, it was representing this exactly. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is Google and this is the search box and these are the icons. Okay, now what we want to do, let's increase the gap between these. Okay, let's increase the gap between these. What was the gap? The gap was 6. Let's make it 15. Okay, let's make it 15. Okay, let's see. Not really. Okay, the gap was what? The gap was 6. Let's make it 10. I really don't know why when I'm trying to increase things here and they become smaller. Okay, 10. It's a little bit bigger. Okay, let's increase also this logo here. Okay, where is that logo? Here is it. The height is 40. Let's make the height 60. And let's see. Okay. The height is 60, but nothing changed. Okay. Let's make sorry for that. Let's make the height 90 and see. Nothing changed for now. Okay, let's make the width 100. Oh, let's make the width 50 to see if it will change. Okay, if nothing changed, that's not a problem. Okay, things are changing. Okay, let's make this 200. Let's see what will happen. Okay, yeah, I think it's a bit bigger and I'm happy with it. Okay, now what we want to do, okay, we want to make these dynamic. Okay, we don't want to have like the same twitch. We want to have like different things. Okay, now let's go back. Okay, where is our shortcut component? Here is it. Okay, now the shortcut component must be able to receive, okay, we want the properties. So this is the means by which we receive whatever that is in the calling class, or let's say. So when you are calling this function, you must pass, obviously it will receive through prop everything or a property that you have applied. Okay. And then from then, what we want to do first, we want to change this to be dynamic. Okay, so let's change this. Open curly bracket and say prop dot svg name. Okay, let's say svg name. Here is it. Okay, now we are going to have prop dot svg name here. Okay, obviously we don't have that svg name at the moment. As you can see, it breaks because we didn't pass any svg name. So let's just copy that, and then we go to the calling module. In the calling module, let's add an svg name here. The first one is going to be twee. Okay, if you've got anything that you really don't understand, please shoot a comment below. I will be more than willing to assist. Okay, And then from then it's Twi, it's Ali, and then the other one is the other icon is MSI. Okay, MSI. Okay, let's see. As you can see, we've got this one, and this one, the MSI, or MI, not MSI. It's MI. Let's see. Okay, this is the mic. Okay, so now let's see the relevant one. It's the plus, it's T, and it's YT. Okay, at least here let's just put the plus. Okay, as you can see, guys, we are getting there and we are winning. Now we don't want also this to be like twitch. Okay, so what we can do, okay, the first thing that we can do, we can also receive this as a property. Okay, that's the first way of doing it. Okay, where is it where I am? I want to be here. Okay, so here we can receive it as a property. Okay, that's the first way to go about it. Let's say prop dot, let's just say I name, or let's say brand name. Yeah, let's just say brand name for now. Obviously you can change it to whatever you want. Okay, the naming is not that important, okay, for this tutorial. Okay, now let's see. Okay, so we need to pass the brand name for this, which is its Twitch. Okay, we will need a C there. Okay, it's Twitch. Okay, and the other one is what? Okay guys, I hope you are learning something. If you are learning something, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, share and like. Okay, this one, it's, I think it's AliExpress. This one is AliExpress, and then this one is the shortcut, new shortcut. I think, let me confirm on my design, add shortcut. Okay, add shortcut. As you can see, the C is not there. Okay, add a shortcut. Okay, save. Let's see. Okay guys, we are winning, we are getting there. Okay, I feel like let's attend this background, this color here, so that at least things can look more better or more nice than this. Okay, let me tell you something. There is also another way of doing this, which I believe is the ideal way. Okay, and that ideal way will be, okay, I don't have it on top of my hand, but let's just quickly give it a try. Obviously, if it takes us like too long to make it, obviously we will settle for this one. Okay, that one is, let's go to the calling module. Yes, this is the calling module. Okay, let me just do this in the calling module. Okay, that one is, okay, as you can see, this is a tag. Okay, and inside this tag there is nothing. Okay, let's use Ali. Okay, let's say Ali. Okay, as you can see, this is some sort of a text inside this tag. Okay, when we pass, let's say, data from this calling module to the actual shortcut module, we use these props, and as you can see here, we are getting that data. However, we can also use something different, which is to catch all the children that are inside this, which is this one. We can catch this name by using children or child or something like that. At the moment, I'm not really sure, but let's quickly check that. In terms of instead of a brand name, let's say child. If it's green, then I will know that's the name. Okay, I've got a problem with my C. I hope also the IntelliSense will help us here because it's a cool for children. I think it's this one. Let's see. Boom. Okay. Okay. Suppose the children that we have written here, this one, suppose it pops in here. Okay. But at the moment, I think it's supposed to be green. But even if it's not green, the color, as long as it's going to work, then that means we are winning. Okay. Let's see. The user interface is not loading. What might have happened? Okay, let's remove this, save and see. Compiled client. Okay, let's see, is it going to work? Okay, it works. But now when I'm saying children, okay, maybe some of these doesn't have children. Let's just put children in all of them. Let's see. Okay, this is the best way of doing it. Okay, this is the best way of doing it. There is still null there. Let's just quickly check. But however, if it takes time, okay, if it takes time, guys, we will just revert to the old way of doing it, the way we did it previously, and then okay, it's fine. We will go back to that one. Let me try for the last time. Okay, we are here. Okay, if it's not children, let me try child. If it's not children, let me try child. Okay, let's see. But it's supposed to be green. My memory is telling me so. This is still some sort of, it has got a very weird color. Okay, let me try it. If it doesn't work, try capital letter. If the capital letter doesn't work, then we will use the old one. Okay, child not defined. Okay, let's make it a capital letter. Or we can use our trusted friend Google. Okay, because also Google can help us. Okay, let's just quickly use our trusted friend Google. Google. Okay. Okay, let's say Next.js get children. Let's see. Next.js get children. Let's see. Okay. How to get children component in Next.js. Passing children to a layout. Okay, let's see what they say here on Stack Overflow. Obviously, guys, when you are learning coding, sometimes you run into problems that you are not really sure of, and sometimes you are clueless about. This is where you check other people's answers to this. Okay, just add children property. Okay, import React from React, cons, class name, children, React node. Okay, just add children, React node. I'm not sure about this, but obviously this children was right. Okay, this children was right, but I'm not sure about this. Let's just check the last one. Obviously, before we go back, running page and layout in Next.js. Oh, I think these children, I have used it in a layout, right? pages. Yeah, I think I've used these children in a layout, not the way I'm trying to use it now. Now I think my memory is coming back. It was the layout where I was using children like this. I think it was a layout. Okay, so let's just forget about that one. Obviously, I'm a bit confused at the moment. I'm a bit confused, obviously, but we will come back to it. We will come back to it. For now, let's just continue and change this color. Okay. Let's just go to Tailwind CSS. Just go to Tailwind CSS. Let's look for background color. Background color. Let's see, background color. I'm looking for a grayish color or light gray or something. Okay, where I'm going to get that sizing? No, background color. Okay, let's see. Background color, PG current. Okay, I'm looking for a grayish color, something like this. Background color, RGB. Okay, I think slate. Okay, let's see, somewhere here. PG slate 100, PG slate 200, between those ones. Okay, PG slate, let's say 200. Okay, let's see guys where we are. Okay, as you can see, boom, this is what we wanted. Guys, I'm thinking let's end this tutorial here for now, since I think it's longer than usual. Okay, let's see, is this still running? Okay, it's still running. Yeah, it's more than an hour, as you can see. So it's a bit longer, so please allow me to end this tutorial here. But as you can see guys, we are getting there with React.js, with Next.js and Tailwind, and we are learning a lot of things about Tailwind. I'm also learning as I'm creating it. To be honest, I didn't really, I was not confident if I can pull this up, but I was just taking chances. But it looks like we are getting there. Okay, as much as it's not exactly like this one, but as you can see guys, we are trying. I'm happy with that. So also I want to encourage you to keep on trying. It's not easy to quickly get your head around these things, but if you keep on pushing and also watch other YouTube videos and other YouTube tutorials, Google things, you will get there. I'm Matthew Msingati, the designer and developer. If you feel like this video has added value into overall understanding of Tailwind CSS, React CSS, React.js and Next.js, please do me a favor. Please subscribe to help me to grow the channel. Otherwise, for me, see you on the next one. As you can see, this is where we are and this is what we are trying to create. Okay, I'm done using these rectangles, so I can delete them so that we can have a clean UI. Okay, so as you can see guys, this is what we are trying to do. We are trying to recreate this interface. Okay, so let's check where we are. Oh, by the way, I'm using Next.js, React and Tailwind, and also the approach that I'm taking is to figure things out as we go. So this means that I'm not standing here as an expert, a guy who knows everything. I am learning at the same time as you are learning. So let's keep the ball rolling. Okay, sorry. So this is where we are at the moment and this is where we are going. Okay, this is where we are going. As you can see, as we've got duplicate logos. This was just for laying out and centering things, knowing very well that we will substitute this with this. Okay, I think the only thing that is missing here, it's only this logo, of which it's something that we can do at a later stage because it's just going to be a copy of this. The only change will be just an icon, so it's just a simple thing. Okay, so now let's create this part. Okay, Let's first deal with the concept of things before we actually do the coding and Tailwind CSS. Okay, so let me just zoom in. So the approach here will be, we need an outer container. Okay, we need an outer container. Let me remove the fill and add the background stroke. Okay, we need an outer container. Just a moment, I wish I can change the color. Okay, just a moment guys, my apologies for that. Okay, we need an outer container that will act as a boundary for everything. It will house everything. Obviously we will have, let me just duplicate this one. Obviously we will have our input here. Okay, we will have our input. Okay, this will be our input. My apologies for the slow computer. Okay, this will be our input. Let me change the color. Okay, and then let me use a circle to represent that icon, the mic icon. Okay, just change the color to yes, and then this, nope, sorry for that, let me lock this background image. Okay, so sorry for that. So this is our icon. Okay, so the idea here in CSS, let alone if it's going to be a Tailwind CSS, but Tailwind CSS also makes use of the actual vanilla CSS. So let's talk vanilla CSS. All right, okay, so we've got a container. Let's treat this as a wall. Let's say this is a some sort of a, I'm not sure, a swimming pool or something, and this is some sort of a brick wall. Okay, this one, and then inside here, let's say there's just water. Okay, now we want the relationship between the icon and the wall. Okay, we want the relationship between the icon and the wall. We must establish a relationship between this one and this one. Why are we going to do that? Because we need to place this icon in some sort of a very, let's say, a very weird position. It's like we want a freedom to push it like anywhere. Okay, which is something, let's say it's something that is not usual. Hence we need to create a relationship between this wall and the icon. Okay, now let's talk coding terminology or CSS terminology. So in order for us to do that, we need to establish the relationship. How do you do that in CSS? Okay, you need to set the position of a wall container to relative. Okay, you need to set the position of a wall container to relative. Okay, let me make this small. Okay, make it small again. Okay, I hope this is visible. Okay, so number one, you need to make the position, let's say, of the wall, which is the bounding container. Okay, the wall, it's some sort of a parent container, let me say. Okay, the wall, it's a parent container. As you can see, that everything that is inside this green box, it's a child. Okay, so once this is positioned relative, obviously guys, my apologies for confusing syntax and CSS thing, because when we are setting a position of something, maybe you are assuming that we are talking about a position left, bottom, and whatever. So this is what it is. Take things as they are. We need to set the position of this to relative, this one, and then we need to set the position of a child. Okay, here let's just use okay, let me open my own screen keyboard. My apologies for that. The reason is my keyboard doesn't the key C doesn't work on my keyboard, so I rely on screen keyboard to be able to type it. My apologies for that. Let's just quickly wait for it. I'm not sure why it's too slow now. Yeah, usually this is how I do it, and then I will suppose something will appear here. Okay, let me just click here. on screen keyboard. Okay, let's see. Okay, now let's open. Okay, I'm hoping it's loading. So okay, so for now, let's say this is the mic. Okay, so we must set the position of the wall or the parent container to relative and the position of the mic to absolute. Okay, to absolute. Okay, to absolute. So now we have established the relationship between the mic and the parent container. And what's that relationship? If this, okay, now we can just come here and press C here. Okay, problem solved. Okay, so now the relationship between the two is that number one, since this one is positioned absolute, when you're positioning something absolute, let's say you don't have a relative parent, it will be positioned relative to the actual body of the web page. So as soon as you press absolute, this item will jump to here. Sorry for that. Okay, let me zoom in again. Okay, the last time. Okay, let's see if I can, yes. Okay, let me take this. My apologies for that. Let's continue, guys. Okay, so once you position this to absolute without any relative parent, okay, this will mean that this dot will jump to closer almost to the body of the entire web page. But as soon as one of its parent is relative, it will jump to some sort of the edge of that container. Okay, I'm sorry for that. Okay, so it will jump to the edge of that container. So what we are saying here, we are positioning this to be absolute. That means we can position it anywhere in the screen relative to the body. But now, as soon as the parent becomes relative, then it means that this is the bounding wall. We will position it relative to the bounding wall. What if maybe we are setting the top of this mic to 0? It will go to the bounding wall. What if the bottom is 0? It will go to the bounding wall. What if the left is 0? It will go to the bounding wall. Can you see the idea that we want to position this mic like anywhere here so that it can sit like on top of this text input? Okay, so first thing, we establish the relationship between the mic and the parent container. I think that is it. I think this was just the most complicated part in what we are going to do. The rest is just pure CSS. Obviously, as we are using Tailwind, so it's just pure Tailwind. I hope you get the idea. But if the concept is not clear, don't mind. I'm with you. We are going to get through this. I will make it crystal clear. Now let's continue. Okay, this is where we are at the moment. That means we need to remove this, and then we need to put the actual what can I say, the text input. But however, let's just quickly check here to see if before we get to this, is everything exactly the way we want. Okay, everything is somewhat exactly the way we want, except that the font here is smaller than this one. So let's just change our font to be small, and then we continue with something else. Okay, now let's go to our page, and then in our page we want to look for a component, and that component is a shortcut. As you can see, these are shortcuts. Okay, so the component is shortcut, and what we are looking for here, we are looking for this paragraph. Okay, and then in this paragraph we need to give it a class. Okay, copy this. Okay, we need to give it a class. Okay, and then we want to, let's say, text. Is it text SM, text small? Okay, I think so. I think it's text small. Then we are making this font size to be small. Okay, yeah, I think so. I think now this is a little bit smaller than before, but obviously let's just, okay, let's see. Yeah, text it's small. Okay, so now this is not as big as it was this. Okay, so I'm happy with it, guys. Now let's continue and add whatever that we want to add. Okay, the first thing that we need to do, let's close this component. Let's go to our page. Let's look for that Google icon, which is this one. Let's remove it and save just to make sure we've removed the right item. Good. Okay, now what we want to do, we need to set the parent container first. Okay, let's say div, this is the wall, guys, don't forget that this is the wall. And what else do we want after that? We want the input. Okay, we want the input. I don't think the input has got a self-closing tag. Let's just say input. Let's see. Yeah, this is what we want. Okay, it must have it's a self-closing tag. It doesn't have like two tags. Okay, and then what else do we want? What we are going to do, guys, we are going to first style the input before we add the icon, so that whatever I was explaining before, it can be crystal clear. Okay, so what we want to do, we want to use Tailwind CSS by adding some classes here. Okay, by adding some classes here. Remember, we said we are using Tailwind CSS. I'm also learning Tailwind CSS, but what if maybe we are running into some sort of a complex problem that we don't know how to solve? What we will do, we will jump to vanilla CSS, because at least I've got a decent understanding of vanilla CSS, so we've got that freedom. Okay, now let's continue. What we want to do now, first let's see what we have. Okay, as you can see, there is something here, but you can't see it. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do, let's make it visible. Okay, obviously by looking at our mockup, as you can see that the background, it's a bit gray, so let's quickly do that. Okay, with Tailwind CSS, you just type bg gray and then you say 500. Okay, let's see how gray is that. Okay, as you can see, it's too gray. It's fine for now. We just want to see it. Okay, we can make it let's say 300, or let's say 200, gray 200. Okay, let's do that and see. Okay, as you can see, here it is. But now when you click here to type something, as you can see, we've got this some sort of an outline. We don't want that outline. Okay, I think it feels outdated. Okay, so now we are doing some sort of modern UI, so let's just remove that outline. So with Tailwind CSS, we'll say outline none. Okay, so maybe one might ask, how do I know these things if I'm learning Tailwind CSS? This is what I will suggest. First, learn vanilla CSS so that you can understand the terms, so that at least you can guess some sort of these utility classes on Tailwind. For instance, let's say I know that there is a CSS property outline none. So when I'm guessing around, obviously I will type here outline, and then I will see outline none here, and then I'll be like, maybe this is what I'm looking for. So as much as I'm guessing, but my guessing, it's a little bit control and focus, or at least it's better than somebody who knows nothing about vanilla CSS. Okay, let's continue. So outline none. Let's see if we have, as you can see now, we don't have that outline. We are good to go. Okay, now what we want to do, we want to at least make our input box a little bit wider, as you can see here. At least if it can be exactly the same width as this icon, or a little bit longer, that will work for us. Okay, now let's work on the width. And then obviously and for now, I'm not a master in terms of these numbers, so we're just gonna pick up, let's say 40, and then we will adjust up or down based on how wide this is. Okay, the width is 40, let's say the width is 10 and see. Okay, am I on the input? Yes. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is 10. Okay, now let's make it, let me say 50 and see. Okay, let's increase 90. Okay, let's see. Okay, let me just say, I'm not sure, 200. Okay, maybe it might happen this doesn't go like more than 200. That is fine. This is something we can fix later. We're just going to go to the tailwind documentation, and we will see how to make the height like a bit wider. Okay, but for now let's just continue. Let's just work on the height a little bit. Let's just work on the height. Let's say the height is 5. Let's see how big it's going to be. Is it going to increase? Okay, it's smaller. Let's make it 20. Okay, let's see how big it is. Too much. Okay, 5 was small. Let's make it 10. Okay, yeah, I'm somewhat happy with this. Okay, even though here it looks like it's a bit smaller. Let's make it, okay, one last thing. Let's make it 8. Let's see if 8 will be fine. Yeah, I think 8 is fine. Now let's continue. Okay, let's change the border radius. Okay, let's do this small curves there. Nice curve. Let's say rounded full. Okay, that's it. Let's see. Okay, as you can see, rounded full. Okay, and then obviously here we need a little bit of padding, and that means padding left. Okay, padding left of, let's give it a padding left of 4. Okay, I'm happy with that. We can start typing from here. And what else? Padding of 4, I'm happy with that. And then in terms of the right side, as you can see on the right side, it reaches the edge. Remember, we need a space for that icon, so let's make a padding right of, let's say 20. Let's start from 20 and see. Okay, 20 is too much. Let's say 10. I'm happy with this. We can fit the icon here. Okay, guys, this is where we are. I hope you are following. What else can we do now? Let me type. Okay, let's put a placeholder. What's a placeholder? A placeholder is this search Google or type URL. Okay, let's go to our input and then type placeholder. Okay, search. Okay, search Google or type URL. Okay, let's see. Search Google or type URL. Google with a G. Okay, capital letter G. That is it. Let's see how it looks. Okay, search Google or type URL. Okay, now what we need to do, we need to sort out this width of this box so that we can make this looks exactly like this, because now since our input box is small, as you can see, this fills the whole input box. Okay, now let's quickly go to Tailwind CSS, and then from there we will look for width. Layout, no, let's look for width. Okay, here is the width. Okay, 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 let's see, we've got width 4, width 10, width 28, width 40, width 48, width 72, width 96. Let's just go for width 96 and see how big is that. Okay, the height here was 8. Okay, let's just group similar styles together. Next to the height, let's go for the width of 98. For the width of 98, and let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is the width of 98. Okay, now what I want to look for here is how do I put my own custom width, as I can see that in a way I'm not winning. Okay, let me make this one 2/5. I think it's 40%. Maybe this is 40% of the entire screen. Let's just quickly test and see. But where I'm going, I want to put my own custom width, maybe in pixels, because I can understand pixel, but these numbers, obviously I'm still new in these numbers, so I don't really understand what's going on, okay, with these numbers. Okay, let's see, because we want this to be a little bit bigger. Okay, maybe this is some sort of 40% of the container, okay, of the parent container. Okay, maybe the reason why this is not growing longer than this, maybe it's because of, maybe there is a container here, okay, that doesn't allow it to do that. That's not a problem. Also, that's a possibility. For now, let's see how do we make our own the custom width. Like, how do you write your own width? Let's say width of 250 or something. Okay, let's see, with fit content, with screen, that means it's going to be 100% of the screen. Okay guys, so let's just quickly type here tailwind custom width. Let's just type that, tailwind custom width. Let's see, custom width, is there such a thing? With to customize with separately use the theme with a section portable config changes media expect with in tailwind css out there is custom with in tailwind css. Let's just click here. Okay, I hope this does not take much of our time. Use the theme with a section. Oh, okay, remember guys, we said if we don't see something on tailwind, we will use vanilla css. So let's just quickly do that. Okay, just for the sake of continuing. Okay, now I've got an input here, and this is the only input, so I don't need to give a unique name for this. So let's just go to globals.css. Here we can say input, and then from then we can say the width of the input is let's make it 300 pixels. Okay, let's make it 300 pixels. Okay, let's see how it is. Okay, if it's 300 pixels. Okay, I don't think we have removed the width and height here. Okay, let's just remove the height here. Let's remove this height, sorry, this width. We need to remove this width. Okay, so that the one that is on CSS can take effect. Okay, let's do this. Let's inspect this and make changes, some sort of live changes. I don't know why this appears like this. This is what I want, so we are going to adjust it while we are some sort of looking at it. Okay, let's see. Okay, where is the CSS for this? The width which is the width is 300. Okay, let's check here, where is that 300? The width is 300. Okay, the width that is 300 is not been applied. As you can see, it has been scratched. Invalid property value. Oh, it's not pixels. Okay, now I see. Let's go back to global CSS px. Okay, my apologies for that, my mistake. Okay, but I'm glad that we've noticed it. Okay, now this is 300. Now let's increase this. Okay, nice. Now we are in control. I'm happy with this. Remember, we are missing an icon here, so even if this can extend a little bit, that won't be a problem. Okay, then let's just copy this and then paste it here, guys. Okay, we have one. Voila. Okay, we are good to go, and I'm happy with this. Let's check the height of it. Am I happy with the height? The height looks a little bit smaller. Let's use Tailwind CSS and give it a height of 8. Let's give it a height of 10. Okay, let's give it a height of 10, and let's see with the height of 10. Okay, this is much better. I'm happy with this, and I'm also happy with this. Okay, let's see the color of the placeholder. The color of the placeholder, it's black. Okay, we need to change that. Let's use Tailwind CSS. Okay, into classes. Okay, into classes. Placeholder. Okay, we need our keyboard. Sorry for that. Placeholder. Let's say placeholder black. Black. Okay, yeah, here's the color black. I hope with Tailwind CSS that is the correct syntax. Let's see, refresh. Placeholder black. Yes, we are winning. Okay, the other thing, guys, that I have not figured out yet is how to set the text of a placeholder, the text size of a placeholder in CSS. I don't know how to do that in Tailwind, and some time ago I did search and I didn't win. So for now, let's just use vanilla CSS to style that. As you can see, this is a little bit this is more like what, 40%. This is 50%, and let's say this is more like 40%, okay, of the entire width. So let's try to imitate that, guys. Okay, as you can see here, this is more like 50 or 60%, of which that's not okay. So how are we going to do that? Go to global CSS, and then we say input. Okay, input, and then dash. Not sure what is this. Is this a dash or semicolon, or I forgot this, but you just put that and then type placeholder. Okay, if you know what that is, you can shoot a comment below and tell me what's the name of this thing. I forgot now, but it's not a semicolon. I think a semicolon is this one. This is a colon. I'm not sure. Okay, let's continue. Okay, and then the placeholder, we can say now I forgot vanilla CSS. I want the font size. Okay, I want the font size to be, let's just say 12 pixels for now. Okay, let's see. Okay, as you can see, this is a bit smaller. Okay, but it must not be too much. Okay, for now, let's just leave things as they are. As long as you are learning, you get the concept, you can make adjustments according to how you feel. Okay, now let's go to the relationship between the wall and the icon. Okay, now first let's discover the wall. Where is our wall? Okay, if this is the input, do we have the wall in the meantime? Yes, we have the wall. Here is it. Okay, this div is just a wall that is centered that is wrapped around the input. Okay, so the trick that we are going to use here, we are not going to assign the width and height to our wall. As you can see, this is our wall. We are not going to assign the width and height to our wall. it will always be like a rubber band wrapped around any wooden block or whatever. You know, most a rubber band, it always try to stick to the container and to the shape of the container as much as possible. So that's what we want to do here also. That means we are not going to give this a width and height. As you can see here, as you can see, this container, it looks like it's wrapped around this text input, except that it's not curvy on the left and the right hand side, as you can see, right? Okay, so we want it to be like that. We want it to feel like it's the exact same width and height as the text input. Okay, I hope you get that one. What we said before is that we must give it a style of a position of relative. Okay, let's quickly do that. The reason why I'm always copying these, I don't want to type the C here in this class because my keyboard doesn't work properly, so I always copy those things. So we want to give it a class of relative. Okay, relative. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be capital letter R or what, but let's hope this will work. Okay, now let's test what we were talking about. Let's just put here any div. Okay, and then here in this div, okay, let's give it absolute. Okay, and then we're going to type here absolute as a text. Okay, so what we've just done here, this is the parent container, the wall. Okay, then the wall, inside this wall we've got a child, which is this absolute. Okay, this absolute will act like the microphone icon. Okay, as you can see now, it's got a position of absolute. Remember, this is Tailwind CSS. Okay, now let's look at how things are. As you can see, it is inside that that wall. Okay, as you can see, here is it. Okay, now let's position it anywhere inside the wall. Okay, what we can do here, we can say, as it is inside the wall, we want the right, okay, position of it, the right position to be 0. Okay, it's supposed to move to the right side. Okay, because anything that is absolute, it's more like it's floating. Okay, so if everything goes well with us, as you can see, it's floating. Okay, the top, maybe the top is 0 at the moment, but let's make the bottom 0 so that it can move to the bottom of this container. Okay, let's say bottom 0, bottom 0. Okay, remember, it's moving relative to the wall, not the input. Okay, let me refresh. As you can see, okay, the bottom is 0. Okay, I hope you get this. Now let's delete the wall, like let's remove the positioning from the wall. The wall must not be relative anymore. Let's see, where is this going to jump to? Remember, I said if you don't have any relative wall. However, one thing to note, even if you can have absolute here, this will still act as a wall. Okay, as long as you have the position, okay, here, the wall will remain a wall. The wall won't collapse. Let's say, as you can see, this is positioned relative to the wall. Okay, obviously we've got some things that are breaking here. As you can see, our icons now are closer. Please don't mind about that, we will fix those later. Okay, so now let's remove the absolute here. Okay, let's remove the absolute. That means now we don't have a wall anymore. The wall is there as a container, but it doesn't govern this child. Okay, remember I said the child will be governed by the entire body of the page. Okay, as you can see now, you don't see it anymore. It has jumped to somewhere else. As you can see, here is it, because it's at the bottom of the body, the body of the entire page and on the right of the entire page. Guys, this is the best way in which I can explain this at the moment, or for now. If it's still confusing, don't mind, just choose a comment and then I will maybe look for some creative ways to explain it. Maybe I can even do some animation, but I hope you get the point. So now let's govern the child. So let the child be governed by the wall, okay, by putting relative. Okay, now instead of having this name, let's have an icon. Okay, instead of this name, let's have an icon here. Okay, now what we want, let's copy this because we already have a component. This is a dry code, meaning that dry stands for do not repeat yourself. So we are making sure here that we don't repeat ourselves. So this is a dry principle, okay, meaning that you write thing once and use it many times. Okay, so this is code reuse. We want a mic here. Okay, and also if it can be, let's say 20 the width and 20 the height. Okay, let's see if is that mic inside this absolute thing? Yes. Okay, as you can see now, the mic has been positioned like at the bottom of the wall and at the right of the wall. Now let's change the size of the mic. It looks like it's a little bit bigger. Let's make it 15. Okay, make it 15. Okay, if you're wondering how did we get this mic, okay, we've got a component here called SVG. It's responsible for, let's use the term, manufacturing icons for us, even though in essence it's just displaying the icons. Okay, manufacturing the icons for us. So we pass the icon name mi, and also we pass the sizes, and then this will be replaced by the icon. This mi is for mic, this is the width and the height of it. That's why you see the mic there. Okay, I hope that one is clear. As you can see now, the mic is a little bit shorter, so let's position it relative to this. Okay, now let's say remember, we are not positioning the actual SVG, but we are positioning the container of this SVG. So this SVG is contained by this div, so whatever this div does, the SVG will do. Okay, now what we want right to be 4 and bottom to be 3. Let's say we just want to see how far is it going to move. Okay, from the edge, let's see. As you can see, so what we need to change, I think I'm happy with the right, but the bottom I'm not happy with it. Let's make it 2 so that it can be on the center in a way. Let's see guys, I'm somewhat happy. Let's look at our mockup to see. Okay, you see there is a space here and also there is a space here, so that means we have to make our icon a bit smaller. Let's make it 11. Okay, let's make it 11. Okay, let's see guys, I'm glad we are winning. We are almost done. Okay, boom guys, I'm happy with this, and I think we have reached the end of this tutorial. I think so. Okay, I think so. I think we have reached the end of this tutorial. We just finished a Google clone. Okay, let's see how this one looks like. This is how this one looks like, and this is our own Google clone. Okay, this is what we were doing, and this is our own Google clone. Guys, I'm happy with this. Obviously it's not as super because the icons, when I was creating them, I was just copying them for the sake of copying. As you might have noticed, I didn't even do this one because obviously this is not a graphic design class. Okay, if you might be interested in learning Figma, like graphic design, where we can design these icons properly, please feel free to shoot a comment and maybe I can do that for you. As you can see, this is where I was some sort of designing or redesigning the icon, okay, and the SVGs. Okay, so guys, I'm happy with this. This is our Google clone. We are done. Please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, and please like the video and share. Otherwise, for me, Matthew Msingati, the designer and developer, thank you so much for your time. See you on the next one. I'm still interested, or I'm still wondering. I wonder which is going to be our next clone. Is it going to be Amazon? Is it going to be Alibaba? Is it going to be Facebook? Is it going to be Instagram? Is it going to be Netflix? Or even it might be WhatsApp. Okay, but the base is we are going to use Next.js, React, and Tailwind CSS. So maybe if you might be interested in a certain clone, please guys let me know, and we will just jump into it and do that clone. Maybe Netflix or even WhatsApp web, we can do that. Otherwise, for me, thank you so much. Please, please, please help my channel to grow. Let's hit that 200 subscribers. See you on the next one.